framework now. Do we have is there an appropriate legal framework to ensure that this lucrative industry that we're staring right at in the face is able to carve a niche for itself?
I do not think that we have, because first of all, there is need for a law, first of all, about outsourcing itself as a business, to provide all the required technicalities that can be taken care of. Here we have laws, there's so much outsourcing going on. In fact, even the Ministry of Labor and Productivity, because particularly those who are on the HR aspect of outsourcing, you really cannot start without registering and being regulated by the Ministry of Labor and Productivity. So I think the legal framework is not in place. It actually needs to be worked out. I know that some policies are out, that like the one that NIDA is holding, but I don't think it is enough. I think we need to do something, because first of all, what we need to do is to grow the domestic outsourcing industry.
Before we even begin to think
exactly.
about
Once you grow the domestic, because people need to be sure that you have enough personnel to handle their business before they can come. I'll give you an example. Wipro, one of the biggest outsourcing companies, wanted to go to China at one point in time. They looked at it and they saw that they didn't have enough people to handle, and they waited for like 2 years before a couple of certifications took place, and they went there. So you need to convince people that we have succeeded in outsourcing locally, so you can bring your business. So I think the legal framework needs to be worked on. So I'm urging NIDA to champion it, get a bill to the National Assembly, and let's have a law in that very particular area, because it is bound to do so much. All these things we are talking about. Look, there are 3 HR outsourcing companies that I know. Together, they have about 70,000 people as their staff who are placed in organizations.
That's just 3?
Yeah, just 3. Because the teller that you are speaking to in the bank that is giving you money is not the staff of the bank. It's an outsourced business to an outsourcing company that brought the teller there. So there is also so much things to regulate, which the law will have to do something about, so that also to ensure that companies do not take advantage of people, because in Nigeria, I'm telling you that there are people who have a master's degree who are working in call center. This is not what it's supposed to be. Call center jobs are not for graduates. Because what it means, even if a graduate goes there, obviously the person who has employed him should know that it's only a maximum of 3 years.
So then that begins to create a challenge, because you see, if we have a master's graduate being a call center agent, and then we now want outsourcing companies to come in with fresh graduates of between 15 and 24 years. Now, what happens to the others? What happens to this master's graduate? What becomes of him, especially if the other sectors where he wants to go and apply his trade isn't just ready to absorb him?
Well, I think we agree that we have a challenge of unemployment in the economy. That's true. But the point is that, look, the KPO, which I talked about, the knowledge process outsourcing, that is the higher end, being handled by consulting firms. It's tied to service export. I mean, consultants, business management consultants, accounting, financial. There's LPO, legal process outsourcing. There's TPO, training process outsourcing. So there are other areas. But now, there are actually 2 parts of this BPO. The voice, which is the call centers that everybody sees as business process outsourcing, and the non-voice, which is huge. Back office operations, all those jobs that are done on a regular basis, mostly, and the rest of them, administrative backup, filling of forms, and the rest of them. An Indian company came into Nigeria, talked to 3 banks, and said, look, if you give us this aspect of your business, we'll reduce your cost by 25%. And then they saw the numbers. Of course, they gave it to them. Argument that some people have is that when outsourcing comes, some people will lose jobs, but the truth is that some people also gain jobs. So I think the legal framework is necessary. The talents that will drive the industry is also very, very key.
And also the protection.
I think IT infrastructure seemed to have improved. By the time we started talking outsourcing in Nigeria, it was quite difficult. Before you had all these cables of Main One and MTCO Glo and the rest of them coming in. So that has improved significantly. But business environment, power, and all that. But first, let's grow the domestic
So what lessons have some other African countries that have successfully maybe done this outsourcing what kind of successes are they recorded that we can emulate, even though their population might not be as much as our own, and our climate is probably different in terms of the polity and the rest of it, but then there must definitely be some lessons that we can learn from them, since we are the largest economy in Africa anyway.
Yeah, okay, South Africa, like I said earlier, the top level said we want to pursue two things, tourism and BPO. That is one thing that needs to be done. Somebody up there needs to get interested, or someone who has the responsibility should show them the numbers, because the numbers are definitely too attractive to be ignored. Maybe at that point, things will start happening. The legal structure that we're looking at, the curriculum that we're looking at. Let's look at Kenya. Kenya, they looked at it, they said, look, we think we are stronger in voice than in non-voice. So they left non-voice, put all their effort in there's a call center in Kenya, Ken Call. For 2 years running, he won the best call center outside Europe. Now Ghana has done so much. First of all, they knew that the talents were key. So they started along that line. They empowered training institutions to start doing BPO training. They paid for train-the-trainer programs, and then also paid part payments for the young people out of secondary school who want to get this certification to be able to work in this industry. These are what other people have done, and I think that if we try to do that, it will help us to develop the local one and attract the offshore outsourcing business.
Some are even saying that it should be listed as a major economic building block in the country's vision 2020, because I know that's what Kenya actually did.
Yeah, sure.
They've actually proposed that it should be listed in their vision 2030. So do you share the same view as well?
That, of course, yes, because all this talk about employment, see, when you talk about PPP, the public-private partnership, there's a huge outsourcing component of it. What it also means is that actually that project that the government is handing over to somebody is like outsourcing that particular aspect of the business. So PPP is a key policy of government right now. Outsourcing needs to come in as an issue to support the PPP programs and even the growth of we're witnessing in the private sector. So we should put it as a major policy trust, possibly in the Vision 2020, even though it's almost here. But I guess we can do something before then. But I think the authorities need to study this further or ask for submissions so that they know that this is a critical issue that will give employment to. Because like you said, I mean, you did a fantastic intro, that this is one industry that employs young people without asking them for experience. Experience, they're not selling it in the market, and people come and say, you need to have 2 years. Meanwhile, he's just out of school, so where is he going to get that for? That is if we want to do something for the youth. Again, state governments, right now, we do not have a BPO village in Nigeria. One state government can say, carve out an area and say, this is a BPO village. Equip it and the rest of them. In fact, the state will be shocked at the kind of revenue they can generate from that.
So